really appreciate that. Oh, we're live.
We are live, my friends. Yeah, that's kind of my signal. We are live. And hello, everyone. Welcome to the weekly show of Classroom Without Walls, episode 125. Wow, that makes me feel good.
And that's a lot of episodes.
I know, almost 3 years coming up. On this show, I interview leading social media digital marketers, authors, entrepreneurs, business owners to come here and to share their best practices, strategies, tips, and insights so that we can future proof our business. And today we are talking about goal setting and how you can set effective goals to rock your life, to rock your business. And joining us live is the one and only goal-setting expert, Deb Eckerling. And Deb and I, we actually connected in person for quite a few times. And a few years ago, I am a big fan. And so today we are talking about effective goal setting to rock your life and business. For those of you who don't know who is Deb, and Deb is an author and a content creator and the founder of Write On Online, which has quite a few K members. And today's discussion is going to be based on Deb's new book, Your Goal Guide, a roadmap for setting, yes, I need that, for setting, planning, and achieving your goal. So really excited. I know this is something that I need to learn more about. So you are going to walk away from today's live interview with a much deeper understanding of the importance of goal setting and how you can master this and hold yourself accountable to achieve personal goals and business goals. We are also going to discuss Deb's Deb Method to help you crack the code on goal setting and so much more. So really excited and welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited, first of all, to reconnect with you, but also to talk to your people because, as you know, this is my favorite subject because it is so important and everybody needs this right now because
100%.
Everybody's lives pretty much, they're like etch-a-sketched. Everything is starting from scratch, which is good because when change happens, it brings opportunities. So I'm thrilled to be here. So thank you for having me.
Totally, like magic happens outside comfort zone. So right now we're going through this kind of rapid disruption. It is the best time to reinvent and learn how to set goals. So we are live on LinkedIn. We are live on Facebook, on Periscope, and on YouTube. So my dear friend Peter is live in the comment section, monitoring your questions and comments. Feel free to tag Peter and follow him, amazing digital marketer himself. So let's dive into today's topic. And you have been in the goal setting business for quite a few years, and you help individuals and business to learn and to be more.
So I think Aya's frozen. So, oh, you're back. See, I was just about to jump in and finish your sentences, but go on.
So what, I told Deb, I have been struggling with my Wi-Fi connection throughout the whole day and for all of my meetings. So just in case I disappear, Deb will continue the show, okay? So I want to let you guys know. So my question is, what inspired you to be on this path, because many people know you as kind of in the social media space. So what inspired you to become interested in goal setting and pursue a career in this field?
Well, like all great things, it happened by accident, but there are no accidents. So many years ago, I was the events coordinator for Barnes & Noble. This is back when I lived in the Chicago suburbs. And one day someone came in and said, "Hey, Deb, will you start a writer support group?" And I said, sure, always open to new ideas and bringing a good space for the community. Well, it was a hit. So not only did it help the people in my group, figure out, okay, what are you working on? What did you accomplish? Yay, raw, go team. It also forced me to set goals as well and achieve them, because I would never ask anybody to do anything I wasn't prepared to do myself. So I saw the magic of goal setting and accountability firsthand. Fast forward, moved to LA, restarted the group. In 2008, when everything was going online, Right On Online became a Facebook group and then a Facebook page, because remember, they transferred them over. And I started a blog talk radio show. So I kind of did a hybrid between the live group and the virtual. And then for a while, I went all virtual. And then when it came back, it really kind of refocused on writers, creatives, and entrepreneurs, because all three are kind of all three. If you're a writer, you're creative and an entrepreneur, creative writer, et cetera, et cetera. So somewhere along the line, people started asking me to coach them. Deb, you're so good at this. Okay. So that's when I started helping people with their projects. And in parallel to that, I worked in communications and project management. So basically, the life I lead now is like one of those stories where many years of doing different things and everything kind of culminated in this. So I'm very blessed, and I just love being able to help people figure out what they want and how to get it. And I get to do that. So
That is so
short.
lovely. I think this is such a, like, as you mentioned earlier, it's such a timely topic given what is happening. So I want to start our kind of discussion by talking about some common mistakes. And I'm not sure about other people, but you can let me know in the comment section. I think all of us, we are very good at creating goals, especially in January, right? Every year, January, like, take out the like really fancy, cute calendar, notebook, journal, and you write down those amazing goals and you put them away, you forget about them. So why do you think, so many people fail? What are some common mistakes that people fail to achieve the goals that they have created? So share some insights with us.
Well, the biggest mistakes people make is they either overthink their goals or they underthink their goals. Regardless, they have no plan. So if you go into January and you've got this great list of goals and you're like, okay, I'm going to do all these things. Well, wonderful. So how are you going to reach that destination? How are you going to turn it into reality? And you either think too much and nothing gets done, or you don't think enough and you end up way off course. And really the key to getting what you want is to figure out what that is, which is, and I know we're going to talk about this more, is why I created the Deb Method, or rather why I rebranded myself as the Deb Method, because it turned out these were techniques I was using for years. And when it came time to rebrand myself, my system worked with my initials so well. So add another one of those things for the luck column. But the big mistake people make is they don't think them through. They don't plan, but also that they don't look at them. Because if you set your goals at the beginning of the year and you put them in a drawer, and at the end of the year, you look at them and, oh, I'm going to be surprised if I accomplish any of these things. That's not effective goal setting. That's like, okay, it would be nice if, what is the quote? A goal is a dream with a plan. So,
oh, I love that.
There you go. And I didn't say it first, but whoever did, brilliant.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. So I love this. Apparently Vicky is, thank you for joining us live. She's really good, right? She actually create her goals and break them down month by month. I love that approach. So before you kind of mentioned a little bit, the DEB method, which is brilliant. I read the book. I love the book. And I think we're all in for a treat. So before we dive in to discuss the specific Deb method, so I want to talk about journaling and visualization, and I was actually quite excited to read that chapter. And because when most people think about goal setting, we dive into the process, right? Almost like a to-do list. Number one, number two, long-term, short-term. So talk to us about the importance of visualization and journaling. What do you mean by them, and why they're so important for us to set effective goals?
Well, visualization, and that's really the first phase of the Deb method. We're jumping around, which is totally fine, because you need to see what you want to get what you want. And we all have that thing that let's say we loved when we were growing up that we always wanted to explore, or you always wanted to write a book or start a business. We all have the answers, but what we don't always do is give ourselves the time to explore them, to do that kind of introspection. And I have this technique I call it directed journaling, which it's chapter 6 of the book, but I also say in chapter 1, if you're having trouble, jump to chapter 6 and come back. This is how directed journaling works, is you want to set a few 15-minute appointments with yourself, 3, 4, 5, over the course of like a week. And the idea is to just brainstorm, do free writing based on a specific problem, question, or in this case, it's like, what do I want? What do I see my life to be? What is it that when I close my eyes and think of the perfect world, what does that look like? And the idea is you want to do as much brain dumping as you can over 3, 4, 5 times, and just short spurts is completely manageable for everyone. But the secret is to not look at any of your journal entries until you've done them, until you've released everything from your brain. And it can be related to, okay, what is Goaltopia? Yes, I made up a word because it didn't exist. Goaltopia is that place where you're living the goals and the life that you love, right? So what is Goaltopia? What does that look like for me? When I close my eyes, what do I see when I look at that? And then you read over your journal entries, and you probably are going to be surprised because you'll mention things that you didn't realize that you loved. And maybe there's something that you thought you should pursue and you barely mention it. So really, and it goes back to planning, when you see what's in front of you, you can better understand what you should be gravitating towards. So whether it's you're figuring out what your mission is or where you want to go or what you want to do with your life, journaling will help you reveal to yourself your best courses of action or what that looks like for you. And then once you figure that out, you want some sort of visual representation, because when you solidify it with, you want to be on the Forbes top 20 list, right? So what does that look like for you? Well, take the Forbes letterhead or the masthead and write out the top 50 and put your picture right on top. What does that look like? Do you want to be speaking to, I used to say sold out crowds, now I say sold out Zoom sessions. Attend a Zoom session with like hundreds of people and screenshot it and then put your face right in there. Whatever it is that you visualize you living this life that you want, make it something that you can look at every day so you keep the eye on the prize. Because you can do it, right?
I really love this. I think when you I didn't start journaling and visualization only until like last year after I started running my business. I need to energize myself, right, to see the positive outcome. And I want to share my screen in a second. And so I actually read this article, and I also in there. And to me, that was so incredible. It's like, wow, every day, as you mentioned, Deb, he took out of like 15, 20 minutes out of his busy schedule, just kind of journal, visualizing, talking about his future life as if everything already happened. And you also shared this really powerful article with me, journaling as a way to practice problem solving, brainstorm ideas. So really, really, really interesting. And can you share some, like, for people who are new to this, like what are some like exercises, like some tools that we can use to kind of get started? I personally, even before I launched my program, I visualized this. I was like, thank you. I already had blah, blah, fill in the blank students in my program. And it worked. Like the day after I started journaling, I got a client. It was really incredible. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy.
It's very, very powerful, and you can use it for so many different things. And the big key to journaling is you want to journal where you will journal. And there are scientific studies that say you should always journal by hand because of the brain-hand connection really solidifies things. But if you're only going to journal, if you type your journal, then that's the way that you should journal. Maybe you're not a writer, maybe you're an artist. So You can doodle the things that you want, sketch out, mind map, figure out what technique, and this works for a lot of things, figure out what technique you will do and you will do consistently and do that. And as long as I'm talking about consistency, I think it's a great time to talk about my 5 of 7 rule, where it's a really good idea. In theory, yes, it's great if you can work on your business, your passion project, whatever, every single day. But we also live in the real world where we don't always have time. And even if you say, oh, well, 15 minutes a day, I can do that. Well, you miss Sunday, so it's 30 minutes on Monday and then 45 minutes by Tuesday. And if you did not have 15 minutes on Sunday, you certainly don't have an hour by Wednesday. On the days when you're overwhelmed and you can't write or journal or work towards your goals, that's fine. Think about them, but give yourself a pass so you're not like, oh my goodness, I have to journal for an hour just to make up the time. No, that is not okay. You start from scratch and you say, okay, today is the first day. I'm going to move forward. And then you just do it. Oh, also don't overthink things. Just get your thoughts out and write the things that you want, write them in the present tense, because that is also very powerful for turning things into reality.
Well, I love that. And I just saw this comment from Peter. And oh no, that's kind of my comment. He said, yeah, like can be really difficult to get started, especially if it is not already part of your schedule, part of the routine. And like, do you recommend people, like, if this is not part of their life yet? So what are some easy ways to get started?
Okay. If you can't do 15 minutes, do 5 minutes. My favorite tool besides a journal is a timer. And everybody has one because everybody has their phone attached to them, right? So just set the timer, say, I'm just going to think, just let my mind wander for 5 minutes. And then when the timer goes off, if you're on a roll, you can keep going. If not, you did your 5 minutes, you're good to go. So start small and then build on it. But the other thing too is meditation, which is perfect for visualization, means different things to different people. Some people do it when they're walking or exercising or cooking or gardening. So figure out what is your happy place, what is something that you do that you love. And while you're doing it, you can let your mind wander to like creating what the perfect life looks like for you.
It is so interesting, before I got hooked on, mindset, working on the self, I didn't know how many successful people, they are really into this type of work, meditation. Like a few years ago, I discovered an amazing meditation teacher. So I have been following him on Instagram, and then I saw Maurice Smith. I was like, oh wow, you guys have been following this person for so long. So it is really interesting. I think, entrepreneurship is such an inside out journey. So I really love how you talk about, working on the self, mindset, journaling, visualization, and meditation. So how long have you been doing like visualization and journaling?
Well, journaling, I started in high school. That's really where my passion for journaling started, because I had a teacher, and I mentioned this in the book, my creative writing teacher made it mandatory to write at least 5 pages a week. And he didn't, and the journals you have when you're younger are different than the ones you have as an adult, maybe, it's possible. But he never read the pages. He just wanted us to start this practice of journaling. And it works. And some people would be like, they would turn in a whole notebook after a week. They're like, okay, these are my pages, and just hand them the notebook. And for some people, they need more. And the other reason journaling is especially important now is when things are still up in the air. There's still a lot of challenges going on with the health issues and isolation and civil unrest, economic disruption. I mean, we have everything we never wanted going on pretty much at the same time. And it's very stressful. If you have a journal, rather than letting all those emotions bottle up inside you, write them down, get them out of your body, because it's sort of like, this analogy works. You know how when you're so worried you're going to forget something, you write it down, and then that's it. Kind of like lifts it away. It's kind of the same theory. You have all of this stress, and your journal is just for you, unless you want to share it. You have all this stress. If you put the stress on the paper gets it, and your body doesn't. It's much healthier to express how you're feeling, and writing it down is usually a really good, safe way to be doing that. So we have that. The other thing that I wanted to kind of hack on to what I was saying before is we're talking about the importance of visualization and mindset and all the journaling, all these techniques. Especially as an entrepreneur, when you are creating things that are like not for now, but for planning purposes, it gets really frustrating because, okay, you're doing all this now to benefit later. Some is instant gratification, but a lot of it is the building blocks for a strong business.
Yeah.
The time that you take to journal, to do this pre-work, to figure out your plan, what you want, it's like a gift you give yourself. And that's like meditation is a gift for you. Journaling is a gift for you. This whole planning process, these appointments you set with yourself to figure out your future, it's a gift. Enjoy it. Spend that time, enjoy your projects, and put all of your love and energy to what you're creating. And that also will show in what you create.
I love this. I especially love the analogy that you made. When you are actually writing things down, you don't have to remember this. It's almost like a great way, therapeutic, right, to release like stress and pressure. Oh, I love that. So now let's dive into I'm sure everyone's waiting to learn more about the DEB method. So tell us, what is this about, and explain each letter to us. What does it mean?
Absolutely. And we've covered some of this, but so I might repeat myself, but it's okay. And this was very interesting to me. First of all, I created the Deb Method using the Deb Method. So these techniques, which I've been using with my clients and through workshops for years, it really fell into the letters of my name. So it's determine your mission, explore your options, brainstorm your path. So these are the 3 steps you need to do to figure out what you want and how to get it. So we start with determining our mission. The first step is visualize, because you can't get what you want unless you know what you want. Then you want to write your current bio, so you know where you're starting, and then your future bio. Know where you're starting, know where you're going. And from there, you want to create a mission statement. What is it about you? What are the things that you love? What is your expertise? What do you want to create? And how is it going to help others? And it could be entertainment. I want to create a web series exploring X, Y, and Z to educate and inform. I want to build a business selling X because it is going to help people do Y. When you have a mission behind what you're doing and the benefit to other people, it helps them and it helps you. And then once you have your mission, you want to pare it down into a motto, because this is one of my favorite things to talk about. And one thing that a lot of people really grasp onto when I talk about is you need to have a motto for what you are doing. So my mission, the short, long version of my mission, is to help as many people as possible figure out what they want, how to get it, define, plan, and achieve their goals. That's pretty much it, using my years of experience, techniques, philosophies. See, that's the short, long, long version. But as I said, when you did the intro, what do? I help people figure out what they want and how to get it. That's great. But that's pretty much too long. My motto is goal setting simplified. So everything I create, whether it's my book or I lead a Twitter chat and I have a Facebook live show and I do workshops, everything is on the premise of goal setting simplified. Because the work that you need to do to figure out your goals, that's going to take time and energy and effort. But the rules, the instructions, the guidebook should be simple. So that's what I think about whenever I'm creating or writing an article or doing a workshop. It's all about getting that goal setting simplified message out there. So what your motto, so your mission is? You want to educate and empower entrepreneurs. Yes?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if people. I'm trying to share. Can you see the screen
I
of
can.
you like the goal setting simplified, the PDF you sent to me, the flyer? I don't know if people can see.
Yes.
Oh, you can see this? Yeah. So I love it, right? It's really simple and simplified. And then, like, yeah, I love it.
Thank you. And the book really goes through those 4 different goal paths to start or change your career, build or launch a business, become a known expert, or achieve work-life balance. And a lot of
Yeah.
these goals are going to be both, because who doesn't need work-life balance and also whatever other goal that they're pursuing. So
Yeah.
when,
Yeah. I
when
also love, sorry to interrupt
oh,
you.
please.
I also love how you mentioned, like kind of just like using 3 words. Reminds me of, I actually had a few people on my show talking about using brands. They just kind of use 3 words to represent what they do. So like you is like goal setting simplified. For me, it's a future proof the next generation or future proof your children, and kind of like a few words that can simply effectively communicate what you do, but it is very hard to actually draw the conclusion to develop those few words. But I love it how you have that, can be almost like a LinkedIn headline, right? What you do. Yeah.
Well, and the other bonus of having that motto is it helps, especially as you're building things and you're being interviewed or you're being asked to speak or other opportunities come your way. You have this motto. Okay, that's a really interesting project. Is it going to help me move forward toward my goals?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it might, but it might not. And if it doesn't, then you have to say, okay, will it benefit me in a different way? So, will you do this volunteer thing for your kid's school? Well, I would love to, but I'm in the middle of doing this right now. I can help you down the line. Or, oh, that would be fun. Let me do it. I can meet new people. So, every opportunity that comes your way, when you have your motto, when you know your mission, you can discern where you should be spending your time. So, that's like the added bonus, extra special part of having the motto.
I
And
love it. I love it. I think again this is a missing piece in many people's businesses. Like when I started my business, I didn't know that I need to create a model. I didn't know that I need to create a pathway to show parents how I can future proof their children. But after I develop a model, in my case, it's an iceberg model, and everything becomes so much like easier and simpler, and for me to explain to show other people what I do. So I love that. Yeah.
it really helps. So the 3 pieces, and then we'll go into the explore your options in a minute, the E. But the key part, or the parts of the determine your mission, you want to have your visualization somewhere where you can see it. You want your what Goaltopia looks like for you, your words, and you want your motto. And these are the things that you need to be looking at regularly to help you keep your eye on the prize. You have an idea of what you want to create. Then as we go into explore your options, then that's where it gets solidified.
Mm-mm. I wonder, this is really good. And I wonder if you can give us like some examples. You can use your personal example or maybe some examples from your clients that you can share to kind of walk us through the process, like how we can apply the DEB method, like to set goals and actually achieve them.
Okay, well, let's say you're building a business. So determine your mission. What sort of thing, what is the drive behind it? So you would want to, okay, this is what it looks like. This is where I'm at. This is where I'm going. This is what I have to offer the world. And this is the motto of what I want to achieve it. So you're an entrepreneur. You want to educate people, but what does that mean? So now we go into the E, which is explore your options. So you want to be a thought leader.
Mhm.
Very common about among entrepreneurs, especially people who are building their business. So, but what does that mean? Do you want to write a book? Do you want to start a blog? Do you want to start a podcast? Do you want to be a speaker? So these are like 4 options. So this is when in the point in the book where I say do directed journaling, you know what the life you want looks like, you know what your mission and motto are. So that's when you want to pick up that journal again and ask yourself, what does that look like? should I create a blog? Should I do a podcast? What is the part of my expertise? Oh, that's so sweet.
I know, Viveka. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivica. Says the queen of all things LinkedIn. I appreciate it.
Very sweet. Yeah.
Okay, so back to your directed journaling. So maybe you're an entrepreneur and you've got all these great ideas for your business. You've got all these wonderful things that you can share with the world, but you don't even know what it's going to be. So you want to create a blog or a podcast, but you're not quite sure what your niche is. So then you pick up the directed journal and you're like, oh, I like this. I like food, and I like sports, and I like business and technology, and I like all these things. How am I ever going to decide what I'm going to focus on? What is my niche? And you do this over the course of your 3, 4, 5 directed journaling. And at the end of it, you're like, oh my goodness, I love artificial intelligence. We'll just use your tools. Why not, right? We're talking. So what do I need to do to develop this expertise? What do I need to create? So you start with the bigger idea of, I want to be known for artificial intelligence. I've got a background in technology. I want to be speaking about this subject. Great. What do I create? So once you have these common themes, very much like we were directed journaling for figuring out our mission and our motto and what we want to be when we grow up, and you narrow it down. Okay, well, I could start a blog on this. I could start a podcast. I need to create a website. So actually it's like 3 things, right? And the next thing you want to do is learn what it's going to take to do any one of these things. So if you want to be an author, you want to write a book, you need to research what that's going to take. If you want to start a blog, you need to research what that's going to take. If you want to do a podcast. So any of these different paths, you have your expertise, but what is going to be the best way for you to get it out in the world? So this is where you go to your network and you say, okay, well, I really want to write a book. And who do I know? Oh, Deb coaches writers. I should talk to her. Maybe I want to work with her. Oh, well, I also need to really get my LinkedIn stuff going. So maybe I should talk to Vivica von Rosen. Oh, and I knows everything about entrepreneurship. So I'm going to reach out to these 3 people and ask them, or read their articles, see what information that they have, so I can better narrow down what I want to do. So the explore your options is the research phase, and it's a matter of, you want to do your journaling, you want to kind of hone in on one of these things that you want to create, then you want to see who you know who knows things, or who you know who knows people who know things, and really do a little bit of that. First, you want to start with the Google, see what information is out there, go on YouTube, read blog articles to see if these things really match you. Because if you don't like being on camera, video show is not the thing you want to be doing.
Totally. Yeah.
Or if you don't like writing, maybe you really should be podcasting. If you don't like long form writing, everybody has to write these days. I'm never going to say that ever. If you do not like long form writing, podcast might be a better fit for you. Or Instagram, or what is it you're going to create for you? So you want to look at what these things are. So I'm either going to write a book, start a blog, or start a podcast. I'm going to research it, and I'm going to see who I know who does this, or who the people I know who know people who do this, and see what information I can garner from it. And this also works if you want to do a career change. Okay, well, this looks really interesting. I want to explore, what's a good entrepreneurial sort of career path? I want to be a content writer for a website. But all I've done is my own writing, and I've done ad copy. But what I really want to do is more of like a creative blog post. What does that look like? Who do I know? What person works at or with the company that is my dream job? So that's the way to look at it. If you're looking for a career change, who does the thing that I want to do, or who knows someone, and can I talk to them and see if it's feasible? So there are all sorts of different ways to look at this exploring your options. But your goal is to be the known leader in X. There are different things to explore to get there. You need to talk to your people, see what fits you, because it really is all about setting yourself up for success. And so by the end of the explore your options, you should be honed in on, I'm going to start a business. I'm going to start a blog. I'm going to start a podcast. I'm going to change my career. And that's like your first big long-term goal. And then what you want to do is go into B, which is brainstorm your path. And that you write out all of your goals. And I'm talking personal goals, professional goals, reach goals, easy goals. You definitely want easy goals in there because you want to have some wins right off the bat.
Absolutely. But like, yeah, I actually have a kind of follow-up question based on like having so many goals. But like, I love this process, just listening to you to kind of walk us through like a few examples already made me feel like, wow, it is not so daunting to start a business. It is not so hard to reinvent, right? You actually break everything down into like steps that you can follow, like people you can ask. So I love how it's like baking a big pizza. Now like get the ingredients, and this step 1, step 2 has made this entire process of making a big pizza so much easier. So I love it. I love this comment from Vivica, like you have to do the work. And I kind of Peter also said something like similar, doing the work that should be enjoyable, going back to journaling, like understanding what you are so good at, right? So for me, it's definitely video content. I love, coming from that teacher background, I love talking, just in case people haven't noticed. And so talking to camera is really easy for me. And understanding your strengths and leverage that and then do the work. So I love it. Yeah. And I want to kind of follow up with you. Like you mentioned, long term, short term, so many goals. So how do you actually prioritize? Like in your book, you discuss alpha and beta. I know those terms, but I never actually like consumed those terms in the goal setting context. So I thought that was really interesting. And I wonder if you can share that with us, what you mean by like
absolutely
alpha and yeah.
Oh, of course, absolutely. Okay, so brainstorm your path is really all about making your plan. So you want to be writing out all of your goals, and then you want to categorize them. So you start with your great big list, and then you separate them into personal goals and professional goals. And then within there, you want to categorize it. So you want to build a website, because that's pretty much, no matter what business you're doing, you're going to have a website or blog. And so that would be, actually, it's more like the long-term goal is build a business. One of your short-term goals is build a website or blog. And within that, you have benchmarks. So benchmarks would be something like figure out your branding. And within that, it's what imagery are you going to use? What name are you going to use? What colors, etc. So that is action items that lead to a benchmark that's part of creating your blog. You also want to figure out your content. Okay, what am I going to write about? Who am I going to interview? What are my posts going to be like? What is going to be the tone and the style of the content? And also you want to look at the technical stuff. Where am I going to host it? What are the different social platforms I'm going to use? So each one of those benchmarks will help you create this blog or website that you're going to use to showcase your expertise. So that's the way of breaking it down. If you have all of your goals like sitting on the table, and then you can put them into little piles, and then you want to look at your schedule and figure out what makes sense and how much time each week you can put towards these goals. And granted, if it's your business, it's a lot of time. If it's a side hustle, even if it's an hour or two a week, 30 minutes every other day, that works. You asked about alpha and beta goals. It's really good to have at least 2 goals, and they could be like action items for different benchmarks, or they could be different goals altogether. Let's say you want to write a book and you're developing your social media. Those are great alpha and beta goals, because they're both things that you have to do to develop your business. And it's also something that you always have when you have two goals that you're working on simultaneously, something is always in motion. So if you hit a stumbling block on one, oh, I'm going to jump over and develop my social media content for a little time. And then once that gets revved up, you can jump back to your book. Or they could be not related at all whatsoever. Let's say you have a home improvement project you want to do, and you want to start a podcast, and you're working on that at the same time. And when you're working on the home improvement project, maybe you're also kind of thinking about what you're writing, and vice versa. So, or your podcast plan or whatever, it goes back to, oh, what do you consider meditation? What can you think about while you're doing something else? They're both constantly in motion. If you need a break from one, you have something else you could jump into. And that way you're constantly moving forward on one or the other.
Yeah, I love this. And again, just like, listening to you to talk about this has definitely made me feel like, oh wow, it's not that complicated, right? It is a lot more manageable, because oftentimes when we look at our to-do list, like it's like a super lot. It's like, oh my God, where do I even get started? But listening to you talk, you kind of priority. There's a reason it's a priority. We need to kind of make that separation and make it, oh, who is the person who wrote that book? I forgot the title. It's just like every day you just focus on like kind of one thing, like a big task, learn to prioritize, just focus on one thing and do that. Yeah, so I love that. And yes, Viveka, we are also live on LinkedIn. Thank you for asking. And so here is a question from Dan, and thank you for joining us live. And he asked, actually, I heard the same thing, like conflicting advice regarding like planning, creating goals. And I heard, like, I actually recently had a conversation with someone who specialized in radical innovation. So according to this person, you don't even need to create like a 5-year business plan for business. And because things change, who can predict coronavirus? So I want, for most of us, like kind of here, like small business entrepreneurs. So what do you think about planning like goals as far as into like 3-year, 5-year, 10-year? That feels like, oh my God, I'm going to be 50 years old, 10 years. Oh my God. So what do you think about that?
I think it goes back to your immediate visualization. Your first thing, what is the life that you want now? And that can be what you're planning for a year from now, 2 years, 3 years. Or it could be like, someday I want to retire. I want to buy my own island and retire there. I mean, and then you have to job back and say, okay, what do I need to do to retire to my own island in 20 years? So you can, and you're right. Can we predict anything anymore? Apparently not. I mean, my book came out in January, and by March, the whole world shut down. And, next month, we're basically starting the year over again. This happened, but it's okay, because as you said at the top of the show, when things change, it's opportunity. So we have to take this time, and a lot of people are still working from home. So you have bonus time when you don't have to commute, if you had that before, or you don't have to drive to meetings. You have bonus time because you just walk in the other room. There are things that you can use this found time to create. I do want to answer your question. What is feasible for you? I think in the age we're living in now, I think it would be great to have a goal for by the end of this year and a goal by the end of maybe next year. But really what you're looking at is, I want to build my own business. Well, that's not a goal that's going to go away, but the things that you're doing to create it are what's going to shift. So, okay, I'm going to build my own business. I'm going to figure out what it is the first goal, what it is I'm selling, or am I consulting? That's the first part. And then work on the other little shorter term goals for that. So plan with what makes you comfortable, I guess.
Yeah.
And I've been doing this for a long time. The goal setting started when I lived in Chicago, and I've lived in LA for more than 20 years. So did I know when I said, yes, let's do a writer support group, that this would be my life? Of course not. But I've also always followed my path with a little bit of intuition. But I've had this gift of project management, and communication and creativity. So I get to use like all parts of my brain, which is awesome for me. But it all started with the answer to one question. So if you are also aware of your surroundings, what you want, the people around you, your tribe, anything is possible. You just need to keep moving forward. So work on something for a while and then go on to the next thing.
I love this. And just to follow up on what you have just mentioned, in your book, you also discussed the importance of, like looking and visiting our goals frequently. And like, actually when I was reading that part, it reminds me of a YouTube video that I watched. I forgot the name of the person, but she's really well known and has a large following. And she mentioned that she has all those like sticker notes, the bathroom, the mirror, living room, like kitchen, everywhere, like 10K a month or 100K a month. So like, why is that important? And I'm definitely now doing that. Like reading your book reminds me of that YouTube video I watched and inspired me. So I want to challenge everyone watching this live and on replay to actually hold yourself accountable and frequently revisit the goals that we have created for our personal life and business. But like, explain to us, like, why is this really important?
Because if you see what you want, it makes it real. And then when it's real, it's easier to achieve. The other thing I talk about in the book is having a goal map. So I happen to have a canvas like behind my computer where I have my little visualization and the goals in progress and the little inspiring things. So that's where I keep that. But
I want to see it. Do you have a picture of it? I would love to see how you do it. Confidential.
I'll think about it.
No worries. Yeah.
But okay, I'll give you, your goal map should have a picture of something you want. In my case, I've got New York Times bestseller list with my book at the very top of it. I have my motto. Actually, my motto is behind me because it's on my logo, which is on everything. I keep my book cover as a screensaver on my phone. There's too much which you can kind of see. So it's all these things that I'm creating are in my sight path constantly. But what is it? Are you a chef? Are you looking to be like the next top chef? You should have that goal on your refrigerator. If you are a yoga instructor and you're working on creating this yoga empire, you should have that goal on your yoga mat. The things that you want to achieve, your mission, your passion, what you are working towards should be something that you're going to look at least every day. Now, you should reevaluate your goals maybe every 3 months or when like something life altering happens. So I think a lot of people are looking at their goals more often. You want to give them a chance to turn into reality before changing course, but you've got the motto to keep you going in straight path, right? So that's all you need. You need to have your visuals, you need your motto, and you have to know what you want. But the other thing you need is you need to be working on something you are passionate about, because that is what's going to spill into everything you do.
I love that. I love that. And like today's interview has definitely inspired me to create a I definitely don't have anything on our fridge other than, the day-to-day to-do list. And I'm going to do that to change that, to constantly remind myself about my big dreams, like vision, see that is more likely to happen. And you also mentioned in the book that you actually advise us to schedule our goals into our calendar. I thought that was brilliant because my calendar, I only have like meetings that I have to do, but I never thought about, hey, I need to schedule something that moving me toward my goal into my calendar. Really interesting. And so explain that to us a little bit more.
Well, it goes back to what I said before. Your goals are a gift to yourself. You schedule appointments with other people, so why wouldn't you schedule appointments with yourself? And you talked about lists before. Let's go down that path for a minute. At the beginning of each week, and this is just something really easy that anyone and everyone can do to set themselves up for success is write down everything you have to do. And I have a master list, and it's divided by client projects, projects for my book, projects for speaking, and other things that I'm working on. Divided out. I even have my phone calls and appointments for the week on this big list. And what I'll do is I will write it longhand, and then I will type it into a Sunday appointment on my computer. And again, categorize that way. And then as things get done, I never scratch things off. I will either put a check mark on the paper, or on the computer, I will write done in all caps as things get done. That way, at the end of the week, first of all, I can copy and paste it into the following week, and then look back and see, oh, look, I didn't think I got a lot done today, but look at all my dones. I accomplished much more than I thought I did. And then what you do for the following week is you want to remove your dones, keep on ongoings, and add new things. And then the other thing you can do is when you have your list, then you schedule appointments throughout the week to get the tasks done. It might be that I have a 4:00 appointment with myself every day, and I just get a reminder, have you done your Deb stuff? Usually I have, or if I'm busy and it needs to be an off day from my 5 of 7, that's fine, but that rarely happens. Or, okay, I haven't done this thing yet. I'm going to stop everything, work on it, and then I'll get back to my other projects. So that little reminder is great. And this is the thing too, when you set appointments with yourself, sometimes you have to move them, but the rule is you're not allowed to delete them. So you want to keep some sort of schedule, especially for the things that you're working on that are for long-term gain. Because if you keep putting them off for things that are short-term, then that's not going to happen. It won't get done. You need to prioritize you. You would never cancel an appointment with your boss. Why would you cancel an appointment with yourself? So you set your list, and you put your list into appointments. And then there's one more bonus to have appointments. Like at the end of the week when you're like, oh my goodness, I got so busy with this, this, and this. What did I do? You can look and say, oh, well, on this day I did this. And on this day I sent out 5 pitches, and I worked with my web person this day. It really helps to motivate you when you see how much you've done, how far you've come, and then you can keep moving.
Yeah, I love that. Viveka, I love this, right? Like budgeting time, gifting ourselves with self-care. I love that. Yeah. So one more thing to do for me on my homework list. And apparently
Absolutely.
My Wi-Fi connection is, let me hide this. Am I back? Oh, I'm back. Yeah.
Oh, you didn't go away. You thought you did, but you were here.
Oh,
I promise.
Everything froze. Yeah. And so I love how Peter mentioned, implemented this. I love how, everything that you discussed today, just like so simple to be implemented.
Well, and that is the whole key. The steps that you take, once you have it mapped out, it's easy. It's 15 minutes to do this and 30 minutes to do that. And you're putting yourself in a position for success because you are constantly moving yourself forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it. So do you have some of your favorite productivity, tools, apps that you use? So share with us. You seem to be really organized and in so many aspects in your life. So share with us. And I know you also have a chapter on productivity. So any tools that you use, you can share with us?
Well, my favorite tool, as I said before, is a timer, because this is the way that it works really effectively. Well, there are 2 ways. One could be, oh, I only have 15 minutes. I'm going to set the timer. That way you're not looking at the clock and you could be fully into what you're working on. This also works really well with journaling. The other way the timer works is, let's say you're stuck. Okay, I'm going to give myself 15 minutes. You set the timer and you see how far you get. And when it goes off, if you're on a roll, you keep going. And if not, you put in your time. And then the third way a timer works really well is it helps you so you do not fall into the social media abyss.
Oh,
So, people, especially entrepreneurs who are developing their business, should be on social media several times a day. If you can limit yourself to 15 minutes, it'll get spread out a lot better. Granted, we're not talking Twitter chats, we're not talking about watching Facebook Lives. I'm talking about creating and responding to content on your pages and groups. You set your timer, you do the work, it goes off. Okay, after I accomplish something else, I can come back and do a little bit more. So it really keeps you on track because
totally.
you didn't fall in the hole because you read something that sent you 20 gazillion other places. So
100%. Or sometimes for me, it's not even like commenting or doing anything related to my business. I'm just like randomly looking at random stuff like, hey, oh, that's cute. There's like funny video. Like, half an hour is gone. And then like really this rabbit hole, like you got directed into something else. So I love that. I think I need to invest or like a timer or you just use my phone and then to keep myself accountable. Yeah. Wow, like an hour is almost gone. So I love this conversation. So share with us and where can people learn more about you and from you and share with us any parting piece of advice that you want to share with us regarding like setting goals and holding ourselves accountable to achieve our goals. So share your final advice with us and your social media where people can learn more about you.
okay, well, I'll give you the how to find me first, and then we can go into the yay rah, you can do it part, even though I kind of just said that. So I am at the Deb Method. I'm at Right On Online anywhere. So debmethod.com, rightononline.com. I've got a Twitter chat that's Goal Chat, which is Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific. And then I do Goal Chat Live every Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific on the Mango Publishing. That's my publisher's Facebook page. I also have a group for Right On Online, which is all about setting goals and posting on them. And then I have a community, which is Right On Online, the Facebook group, and there are daily prompts to help people engage and share their wins so we can all like cheer each other on. So, and also you can find me on LinkedIn. So the debmethod.com/contact has all my social media links. You can find me on LinkedIn as well. And if you want to learn more about the book, yourgoalguidebook.com or yourgoalguideroadmap.com, they'll both take you to my book page. And the Deb Method Facebook page, that's where I share all articles and upcoming events and really cool stuff because my book's half birthday is coming up in July. So we're going to have a virtual half birthday party on the Deb Method Facebook page. So
That's
definitely
awesome.
me for tools, inspiration, and basically a cheerleader to say that piece of advice, you can do it. Because this is the thing, you are in charge of creating the life you want. You can do, if you want to change your career, change your career. I mean, I know it's not always that simple, but you can start educating yourself on doing something different. Or if you want to start a business, start with a side hustle, create something. If you want to be a thought leader, create a blog, podcast. There's so many opportunities. We're all connected in a way like never before because now everybody is connected because we have to be. Your resources are out there, your education's out there. Oh, your tribe is out there. So please connect with me, expand your network because if you don't have the answers, you're going to know people who do, and we're all here to help you get to the next level.
I love that. And I love how you mentioned, we can like reinvent, redesign our career. Like for me, I did exactly that. And I have never felt as happy and inspired as I am today. And now with the DEB method, right, we can 10 times and make everything even more effective and efficient. So I love that, how everything is so simplified to amplify. I love that. So thank you so yeah, thank you so much for an amazing conversation. I love it. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining us live and busy Wednesday or Thursday for some of you. And I hope you enjoy the discussion. I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday or Thursday at same time, same location. Thank you so much again for joining us live. Take care. Bye.
Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.